Awesome. Well, I'm here with the mayor. Welcome. Thank you.
How
Well,
you doing?
you're
Good to
welcome
see
to
you,
me.
Ryan.
I'm in City Hall here, so and Lance Orton, who runs CityTeam Portland, and yeah. So we had drinks on when you were on the campaign trail probably 6 months ago, and one of the things that really stood out to me is that you were already doing the work before you got in office. Started a nonprofit called Shelter Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Lance, you're on the board of that.
Mm-hmm.
When I started We Believe in Portland, it was a lot of that was I was paralyzed by this whole homeless situation. And I felt as a private citizen, I couldn't really do anything about it. So I was like, man, what can we do? Okay, let's just do something simple. Get 1,000 people together, pick up trash, support a local restaurant.
Simple,
after.
1,000 people.
Yeah, just really simple. But I think one of the reasons why you won is that a lot of us, I speak for myself, I really believe in your plan. And when we talked 6 months ago, that great summer night, you shared with me you met with the mayors of Boise and New Orleans and Boston, and like there is a plan that works. And being from the business community, it's like such a breath of fresh air that you have that. And so I was hoping that you could just kind of share. Especially, I'm interested in like I'm a very impatient person. So like this year is a lot of phase one of your plan.
That's right.
And I know Lance and his organization is part of that phase one, but just talk to us a little bit about that.
Right. So you have your upper level vision, and then you have your priorities under that. So from a chief executive standpoint, we're going to anchor it with the vision. And the vision is to end unsheltered homelessness within the first year. And you really have to do it all at once, because at that same important time, you have to enforce your codes. And the only way you can do that is if you're able to offer a bed for everybody in need. Mm-hmm. So it starts with setting up a network of nighttime emergency shelters. But in the 35 days I've been here, it's actually grown so much bigger and broader because it's more than I had hoped. We have people offering 24-hour shelters with sobering services. We have people offering micro apartments. I mean, actual apartment buildings.
So private citizens are doing this, or nonprofits, or combos?
Both.
Okay, got it.
And it's really amazing. So we're turning the city into an order taker now, because we're starting to see the interest. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, I've been the salesperson for the last 10 months. And people understand, and now they're ready to buy.
Yeah.
And so when we're ending that unsheltered homelessness by setting up the network of shelters, we get to enforce our community safety laws of sanitation, caring for all of our neighbors. It improves the livability for both the unhoused and the housed. Mm-hmm. And when you're able to do that, now you're able to provide relief for small businesses who've been they feel under attack.
Well, because their employees don't feel safe.
Or their buildings are being neglected or harmed, or they're not getting the foot traffic that's we once enjoyed in our neighborhoods. Right. And so they're suffering. And not only that, it's families as well. You provide relief for families. We have an exodus of people and businesses and concern. And by doing that, then you're able to really provide breathing room for our homeless service providers who've been doing so much good work for a decade on trying to focus on the solution to unsheltered homelessness or homelessness is housing. Mm-hmm. Now they have a fighting chance and breathing room to start delivering that long-term result. So address the short-term humanitarian crisis, setting up a shelter so nobody has to suffer on the street, provide relief, take the pressure off of our public safety system that is overburdened, and then allow your homeless service providers, that network of well-funded providers, to have a fighting chance to succeed. So it's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So I'm a competitive person. I'm goal-oriented. Your goal is 1,500 beds for night shelters.
That's the target for this
and day
year.
Shelters, or just night shelters?
Night shelters and day shelters are 600 units.
600.
So
okay.
we need 4 day centers, one in each district, because a lot of people that are coming into our shelters at night are working the next day. They're pouring your coffee, they're making your sandwich. They just are down on their luck or need a night or two, but there are a lot of people with behavioral health or addiction. And so the day centers are there to connect those individuals with needs for the long-term resources they might need to recover.
So we're 5 weeks into the year, basically 1/10. Where are we on the 1,500, and how can we as private citizens help get you to your goal?
Good. 200 beds opened up within the first week of taking over office. I announced a 50-bed facility a week ago, and that'll be online in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We have 4 other shelters in the pipeline. Ryan, to be specific, our goal is to deliver 450 beds by June 30th, and we're well ahead of schedule. And then it will really start accelerating after July 1st. So we're putting all the pieces in play. And I think your question was, what can others do to help right now? Everything. So at our shelters, we have a musician there for the first hour or two. We'll take the arts community because we want to provide dignity to people.
Where are you on the east side? Where exactly?
The 2 shelters we have right now, Church of Nazarene, which is operated by Union Gospel Mission. That's at night. And then our day center is PDX Saints Love, and that's on 82nd Avenue. So those are the 2 that we really used to learn.
Okay, musicians. We need musicians. All right, what else?
Outreach workers, because in the evenings and in the mornings, if people need help, we want to constantly be, as a community, saying, I want to help you. What does it look like? But if you're in a business corridor, you can't be here because that's going to impact that business or shop owner's livability. So if you don't want someone to be there, you got to be able to provide a better place for them to be. And so we need outreach workers to provide that linkage. If you have a business that's empty at night that has access to showers, if you have a community center that's empty at night and has showers, or if you have a faith-based organization, a church, anything that we can repurpose an asset at night that's dignity-based, we'll flip it, and then we'll flip it right back at 7 a.m.
And there's a website with links to this, and we'll have this in the post?
I would say you want to reach out to mayor@portlandoregon.gov, and then we will transfer that over to Portland Solutions and Skylar Brock Knapp, who's our director, and we'll list it, and then we'll contact you, and then we'll start vetting and working together. But that's the shelters, and then we have any sort of financial donations. We're really going to focus on making
directly to nonprofits.
Well, we're setting that up right now, but we recognize to care for Portland, we need a public-private partnership. We need everybody. So we actually have people coming to us saying, we're going to operate a shelter on our own. Can you help us? You bet. We'll plug you in, resource you, connect you with certain services. We have one shelter that's private, but they need some plumbing. So through a community development block grant, we're doing the plumbing for them.
Awesome.
Do you see, it's not just a one-size-fits-all.
Yeah.
You tell us what you have, but it has to be the entire 600,000 plus doing this.
There are no other elected officials that have that approach that I've met. So, but I'm going to pause you for 1 sec. Lance, you got a new building in Old Town, and you also, so 2-part question. Tell me when that's coming online to be part of the goals, because we're getting closer to this goal. I feel like we're winning already. Anyway, what's that timing like, and also your experience with the mayor of bringing people together in terms of other nonprofit kind of shelter operators?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So super excited. We have a facility at Northwest 4th and Davis. It will be opening September 1st is the goal. We've got a construction permit in hand. Plans, drawings, still raising some of the money, but we're about 65% funded, which is huge at this point in the project. So we have no reason to believe we won't get there. It'll have 30 emergency shelter beds through our voucher program, which many know that's how I got through the program myself. And then we should have the residential beds open shortly thereafter, around 70 to 80, depending on kind of how we do it between addiction treatment, long-term recovery housing. So we're excited about that. I'm excited to play a role in the continuum because, you know, like you just said, I've never seen a collaborative effort like this before, where it's not just depending like, oh, this is the government's problem. This is Portland's problem, and there is a solution. Many of us have been doing it for a really, really long time. But I admit, even CityTeam Portland's operated in a silo for 22 years in this town. And so now we're sitting and we're talking to other providers. The mayor brought us all together a couple of weeks ago, 50 or so different providers sitting in a room. He spoke for 2 minutes, the shortest mayoral speech I've ever heard, and he said, "What do you guys need?" And I just thought, man, this is great. This is like, and we had a productive conversation, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. So April 25th, we believe, I know you've got a crazy schedule, but if you can make it, it'd be great. We're mixing it up, and it's at the home of the Timbers at Providence Park.
Good. Oh, great area.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and any last thing you want to mention? Or?
Now, I think the the hopefulness that I'm seeing from Portland is exciting. I know the renaissance that we all want is within our reach, but we have to work for it. Nothing can be taken for granted. But with Lance on this side and Ryan on this side, I will tell you, we have everything we need to pull this off. This is not about funding. This is about us coming together to just make sure that we're not going to leave any Portlander behind. And so, thank you for all you're doing, Ryan.
Yeah,
and
thanks.
you as well, Lance.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, cheers.